Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tutorials, and in this video, we're going to be diving into a new concept in React called portals. And this allows you to essentially put code in a portal and have it live somewhere in your React project, but show up somewhere else entirely in your DOM. This allows for things like modals, alerts, or anything that you need sort of z-index context taking over to be extremely easy. So in this video, we're going to create a reusable portal that we're then going to go on and really take that portal concept into building a really cool animated modal. So let's get started right now. Okay, so let's get started. In this video, what we're going to be doing is building a portal, which sounds pretty sweet, right? If you just take that out of context, hey, we're going to be building a portal, that sounds awesome. So it's actually pretty awesome in React too. So it's not nearly as awesome as outside of React, but it is awesome. So let's get started in talking about first, what is a portal? Now, maybe you've known and maybe you've run into this problem before, but maybe perhaps you've gone to build something like a modal. Right, in a modal component, you sort of expect to be on top of other things. Maybe it's a login modal or something like that. And you go through and, well, your z-index is all set up, and then you trigger your modal, and, well, because in the DOM, your modal is nested in divs and divs and divs, it becomes nested in sort of the stacking order of things, and no matter what you do, you just cannot get this thing to be on top. So a solution might be to throw some code to have your modal maybe be at the root of your app, like down here, and then have that triggered with Redux or some other state management that's pulling the state all the way out to the root of the application, and it can get really messy really quickly. Now, what portals allow us to do is basically have any sort of code, right? I could have code inside of my toggle, oh, maybe not this one because there's no actual code in here. I could have code inside of this toggle.js, right? And by wrapping this code in a portal, it would actually insert it into the DOM. And let me fire up my DOM here. It would insert into the DOM wherever I choose. And that means I could even insert it directly at the very root level of your application. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is basically showing you how you can send data or components that maintain React context through a portal into somewhere else in your code base. And it's a really cool new feature of React and something that people were sort of hacking together before, and now it is in React, okay? So what we're going to be doing first is creating a new portal component. So what we want to do first is head to our code, and we want to head to our index.html, which isn't a file that we typically edit. It's under our public files and index.html. And here we have our render target, which is our div with an ID of root. Now I'm going to go ahead and have a new render target in here, and this is going to be portal, okay? And notice how I'm putting this at the same level of root. So anything that we throw into this portal eventually get rendered essentially at the same level of root, allowing us to stack it on top of root no matter what we're doing, okay? So that's first step, is to create a new div with an ID of portal. So check it out, we now have this, and we'll now be able to write our portal that connects into this div. So let's go ahead and make a new component in our source files, and let's have a new file, and this is going to be portal.js. Now, the cool thing about a portal is that you're not writing it as a one-time use thing. You can reuse this thing. So anytime you have a modal alert or any of that stuff, you can reuse this portal, and it's automatically going to send whatever you're passing in here directly to the root of your document. So what we need to do is import a couple of things, and this is going to be sort of an unusual React component. We're going to have first importing a component from React, okay, that's to be expected, but we're also going to need to bring in something from React DOM. We're going to need to import React DOM itself, React DOM, D-O-M needs to be capitalized, from React DOM, okay? Now the thing that we're going to be using is something called create portal, okay, which seems like it's an appropriately named function. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to define a new modal root. So we're going to say const modal root. Now keep in mind this is outside of our React component, and we're going to have a new document get element by ID. So we're going to do document dot get element by ID and then pass in the string of portal, because this is the ID that we're looking for. You'll remember this kind of document get element by ID stuff. If we were to head to our index.js, we're doing that same thing whenever we render something. We're using React-DOM render our app into get element by ID. In this case, what we're doing is simply saying, hey, the root of our portal, or in this case, modal, let's actually change this to be a portal root. That makes more sense for this context here. It's basically saying that, hey, this div that says named portal is going to be the root here. Now what we want to do is export a default component. So we can do export default class portal, just like any other React component, extends component. And like any other React component, we're going to need a render function. Okay. Now in this render function, we're going to do something fun. We're simply going to return, and then instead of having some JSX here or anything, we're going to return React DOM dot create portal. Okay. So we're going to be creating our portal in the render function. Now, what do we need to actually create this portal? Well, it takes two arguments, one of which is going to be a wrapping element, which is going to be, in this case, a div, and it also takes the children. So just like we've seen before, you could always do const, let me see, my C's not typing, const children is equal to this dot props, and then inside of here, we can pass in children, comma, and then this next argument is going to be an element. Now we haven't created this element yet, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to want to do so in our constructor. So we need to create a constructor, and this is going to be like so. We need a super with our constructor, because you always do, and we need to set a new element. Now, if you haven't created an element in JavaScript before, it's super easy with document.createElement. So we can say this.el for element is equal to document dot create element, and we just need to pass in what type. In this case, it's going to be a div. Okay, we're just creating a div for this stuff to go into. So here we've created our this.l. Now that means the second argument in this create portal will be this.l. Okay, so far so good. We are creating our portal. Now next we need to add this element to the document whenever the portal mounts or unmounts. So that way the children have something to go into. So let's go ahead and take care of that. We can do a component did mount. I'm sorry, CDM component did mount. Okay, and on this component did mount, what we're going to want to do is take our portal root, and we're going to dot append child. Keep in mind, this is all just JavaScript stuff. We're going to be appending, not a string. We're going to be appending this .l. So the same element we created in the constructor, whenever this portal mounts, we're going to create a new div in the portal root. Now we can just copy this whole line here essentially and change this to be component will unmount. Okay. And on component will unmount, what we're going to be doing is instead of appending child, we're going to remove child. Okay, so we're going to remove this div whenever it unmounts. We're going to add it whenever it mounts, and therefore we should be able to now use our portal. So this is really it. We're creating and deleting this element in here, and here we're defining the element, and here we're saying, hey, create a portal with the children going on through and an element. Now again, this could be anything. This children right here is just the sort of the way to pass things in here. You can get creative with a portal if you would like. However, we're building sort of a reusable portal here, so it's nice to just have this be the children. Okay, so now that we have that in action, let's head to our app.js and try this thing. Actually, let's confirm that we're not breaking anything first off. Okay, beauty. Let's head back here and let's import portal from .portal. Okay, like so, and now we can go ahead and take anything and put it in a portal. In fact, let's go ahead and take, let's actually do a new thing here instead of this toggle. We can say portal, and inside of our portal, we can say an H1, hi, I'm in a portal. Okay, so nice and easy. We're just using this as a normal React component and passing the children through. So let's go ahead and see this thing in action. What's nice is that one, we have this I'm a portal here being output. So obviously there's no errors, but the coolest thing is if we inspect this and check this out in the DOM, this is actually not in the root of our React app, which is a big deal because before portals, you were never really able to do this elegantly. So now we have, hey, hi, I'm a portal in its own sort of context. And now if we were to position absolute this or anything like that, yeah, it would still work. Now, one of the coolest things about this is that it keeps the React context. I mentioned this toggle here exists and that you can wrap it around anything. Well, check this out. I'm going to put the portal inside of this fragment here. Let's do it like this. And I'm going to have this here. And now we're going to have this on also affect the hi, I'm in a portal. Okay? Like this. Now let's go ahead and actually see this thing in action. And if we refresh, you can see nothing's here. If I open up my portal, there's just a div. I click show hide, and hi, I'm in a portal actually works, even though this element is way the heck over here and not anywhere near the actual toggle stuff in the HTML. So again, this portal stuff is great because here we're keeping the React context, right? This whole stuff is sitting next to each other in React, but visually on the page, it is way far away. So that's incredible. So these are portals in React, one of my new favorite features and something that's going to be instrumental in building a reusable modal component. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. And in the next video, we're going to take this thing up a notch and we're going to create a reusable modal now that we can use for pretty much anything. So check it out. As always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.